Admiral Chen Zhang stood at the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha, watching Earth's blue marble suspended in the void. The year was 2157, and humanity had just achieved its first fusion-powered interplanetary colony on Mars. That's when they arrived. The Galactic Assembly ships materialized just beyond lunar orbit, sleek vessels that seemed to bend light around their hulls. First contact wasn't the disaster many had feared. Instead, it came with patronizing smiles and condescending guidance from a dozen alien species who viewed humanity as primitive but potentially useful newcomers to the galactic stage. Remarkable adaptability for a Deathworld species, noted High Counselor Zexra of the Vraxian Empire, her crystalline form refracting sunlight as she toured Earth's facilities. Though they'll need centuries of development before they can truly join galactic society. The Vraxians, like most assembly species, evolved on worlds with fraction of Earth's gravity and atmospheric pressure. They viewed humans as fascinating curiosities, natives of a planet that should have been impossible to inhabit. Their diplomatic overtures seemed generous, offering limited technological exchanges, cultural integration programs, and designated trade routes. What the Assembly didn't know was that humanity's quantum computing division had already cracked their encrypted communications within the first month of contact. Dr. Sarah Chen, the Admiral's sister and head of Earth's Xenological Intelligence Division, was the first to discover the Vraxians' true intentions. "They're cataloging everything, brother," she reported during a classified briefing. "Mining deposits, water resources, genetic databases. The Vraxians don't see Earth as a potential member world. They see it as a resource cache they can't believe evolved as sapient species." The evidence was damning. The Vraxian Empire had a history of uplifting primitive worlds, only to later declare them developmentally unstable and assume direct control. Their seemingly benevolent technological gifts always came with hidden backdoors and kill switches, but humanity had learned caution through millennia of conflict. While the Assembly's ambassadors reported back about the endearingly primitive humans eagerly absorbing their lessons, Earth's nations quietly unified under a single directive: prepare. Underground manufacturing facilities began producing quantum-encrypted communications arrays. The Mars colony, presented to the Assembly as a struggling outpost, was actually a massive military research installation. Every primitive fusion drive humanity demonstrated was paired with a cloaked antimatter prototype in development. Admiral Chen watched the Vraxian ships in orbit, their crews completely unaware that human quantum sensors were mapping every detail of their supposedly superior technology. "How long until they make their move?" he asked his sister. Sarah pulled up a holographic analysis. "Based on their communication patterns and fleet movements, 6 months at most. They're already positioning diplomatic vessels near all our major population centers. And our countermeasures? Ready. The nanotech defense grid is fully integrated into Earth's atmosphere. The moment they try to deploy their nerve agents," she let the sentence hang. "And they still think we're decades away from understanding their basic shield technology," Chen mused. "Keep playing the part. Let them think their gifts are revolutionary to us. The longer they underestimate humanity, the better prepared we'll be." As if to emphasize his point, a Vraxian diplomatic shuttle docked at the lunar base. Ambassador Kexri emerged, her crystalline form vibrating with what humans had learned to recognize as smug satisfaction. "Admiral Chen, we're so pleased with your species' progress. Why, you've almost mastered our basic plasma containment principles. Perhaps in another generation, we can discuss limited weapons technology." Chen bowed respectfully, the perfect image of a grateful primitive. "We are honored by your guidance, Ambassador. Humanity knows its place in the galaxy." The ambassador's crystalline surface rippled with amusement, completely missing the steel in Chen's eyes. Humanity did know its place in the galaxy. It just wasn't the place the Vraxians assumed. As the ambassador glided away, Chen received a priority message from Mars Command. "Project Prometheus ready for field testing. All systems nominal." He allowed himself a small smile. The Vraxians thought they were dealing with primitive Deathworlders who would be grateful for any scraps of advanced technology. They were about to learn that surviving on a Deathworld required more than just physical adaptation. It required cunning, innovation, and a deep understanding of when to bare your teeth and when to smile. The game would continue until the Vraxians made their move. Then they would learn why humans had thrived on a planet that should have killed them. Earth wasn't just a Deathworld. It was humanity's fortress, and they had spent millennia learning how to defend it. Project Prometheus wasn't just a weapons platform. It was humanity's declaration of independence. Deep beneath the red Martian soil, Dr. Sarah Chen walked through rows of quantum-enhanced battle suits, each designed to amplify human strength tenfold while negating the Vraxians' energy weapons. The Assembly's technology database, freely shared with their primitive human allies, had proved invaluable. Every weakness, every flaw in alien defense systems had been meticulously documented and exploited. The Vraxians believed they were teaching humans basic engineering principles. In reality, they had handed over the blueprints to their own defeat. "Status report," Sarah commanded, her voice echoing through the facility's vast chambers. Colonel Diana Rodriguez, head of Special Operations, stepped forward. Phase 1 complete. All major population centers have underground bunkers equipped with quantum shields. Our orbital defense grid is masked as communication satellites. The Vraxians still think we're celebrating the achievement of basic radio telescopes. And the bioengineering division, better than expected. We've developed countermeasures for every known Vraxian bioweapon. Plus, Dr. Patel's team made an interesting discovery. Their crystalline biology has a critical resonance frequency. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Exploitable? Extremely. A properly calibrated sonic pulse could shatter their entire command structure. They never considered sound a weapon. Their homeworld's atmosphere is too thin to carry dangerous frequencies. Humanity's greatest advantage wasn't their strength or their technology. It was the Assembly's absolute certainty that they were dealing with primitive savages. Every patronizing lecture, every simplified explanation had been absorbed, analyzed, and weaponized. The Vraxians' own sensors confirmed their beliefs. They detected the heat signatures of crude fusion reactors, the electromagnetic emissions of primitive defense systems. They never realized these were elaborate decoys, masking the true extent of human advancement. In orbit, Admiral Chen's fleet of experimental ships continued their clumsy maneuvers, deliberately failing half their training exercises under Vraxian observation. The real fleet, equipped with reverse-engineered quantum drives and antimatter weapons, remained hidden in the asteroid belt. "Timeline update," Sarah requested, reviewing the latest intelligence. "The Vraxian fleet is gathering faster than expected," Rodriguez replied. 300 ships already in position. They're getting impatient. Let them come. Every ship they commit is one more they'll lose. The facility's quantum COM system chimed. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared, his expression grim. The Vraxian High Council just voted. They're declaring Earth a protectorate effective immediately. Their fleet will begin peacekeeping operations within 48 hours. Sarah allowed herself a cold smile. Right on schedule. Status of Operation Lazarus. All civilian evacuations to hardened shelters are proceeding under cover of cultural festivals. Defense grid is charged and ready. The moment they enter atmosphere, they'll trigger their own trap, Sarah finished. Humanity's been playing wounded prey, making them overconfident. Time to remind them why Earth's wildlife evolved to be so dangerous. The quantum sensors lit up with new contacts, more Vraxian ships entering the system. They moved with the casual arrogance of conquerors who expected no resistance. After all, what could a primitive Deathworld species do against the might of a galactic empire? In her office, Sarah reviewed the final deployment orders. Every human ship was in position. Every weapon was primed. The Vraxians thought they were springing a trap on helpless primitives. Instead, they were flying into the jaws of a predator that had spent 6 months preparing for this exact moment. "Send final authorization codes," she commanded. "Operation Lazarus is now active. Let's show them what Deathworlders can really do." As the orders went out, Sarah thought about the Vraxian ambassador's last visit. The crystalline alien had patted her hand, promising that humanity would understand in time why this was necessary. Soon, very soon, the Vraxians would learn why humans smiled when they were angry, and why Earth's most dangerous predators were often the ones that looked harmless. The trap was set. The hunters were about to become the hunted, and humanity was done playing nice. The Vraxian betrayal began exactly as humanity expected, with a peacekeeping fleet dropping out of quantum space across Earth's major cities. Ambassador Kexri's voice echoed across all frequencies, dripping with false concern. "For your own protection and development, the Galactic Assembly has deemed Earth in need of direct supervision. Please do not resist. This is for your own good." Admiral Chen watched from Lunar Command as the Vraxian ships deployed their weapon platforms. The alien sensors showed exactly what humanity wanted them to see: panicked military responses, crude missile launches, desperate radio calls. The perfect picture of a primitive species caught unprepared. "Planetary defense grid detecting bioweapon deployment," Sarah reported. "They're starting with their standard nerve agents. Atmospheric processors are ready." The Vraxians never questioned why their initial bioweapon strike dissipated harmlessly in Earth's atmosphere. They simply moved to Phase 2, quantum-shielded troop carriers descending toward major population centers. "Now?" Sarah asked. Chen checked the tactical display. The Vraxian fleet was fully committed, their ships in perfect position. "Now?" A signal pulsed from Lunar Command. Across Earth's surface, supposed communication towers revealed their true nature. The quantum shield grid activated, but not to keep the Vraxians out. It was designed to keep them in. Ambassador Kexri's smug expression froze as her ship's sensors registered the change. The primitive EM frequencies they detected were actually masking the quantum field network far beyond what humans should have been capable of creating. "This is impossible," she broadcast. "Your species can't possibly." The defense grid pulsed again. This time, it emitted the exact resonance frequency that Dr. Patel's team had discovered. Across the Vraxian fleet, crystalline bodies began to vibrate. "You were so certain we couldn't understand your technology," Chen replied calmly. "So certain we were just primitive Deathworlders playing with toys we didn't understand. Did you ever wonder why we smiled when you taught us things we already knew?" The atmosphere processors activated, releasing clouds of engineered nanites. They ignored human biology completely, but began systematically dismantling Vraxian technology at the molecular level. Every gift the aliens had given humanity had been carefully studied, reverse-engineered, and turned against them. "This is High Commander Vexra," a new voice cut in. "Cease these actions immediately or—" The hidden human fleet emerged from the asteroid belt, their quantum drives no longer masked. Antimatter torpedoes streaked across space, targeting the exact weak points in Vraxian shield geometry that humanity had spent months studying. "Or what?" Chen asked. "You'll show us how primitive we are, how we need your guidance. Look around, Commander. Look at how well your primitive pets have learned." Escape routes were cut off. Shield frequencies were jammed. Every Vraxian advantage had been analyzed, countered, and neutralized. Their own arrogance had blinded them to the trap until it was too late. Sarah's voice came through on a private channel. "Ground forces deployed." The Vraxians never bothered to check if their basic shield designs had been modified. "Our troops are walking right through them." The Vraxian fleet, pride of their empire, began to crumble. Their crystalline ships shattered under precisely calibrated sonic pulses. Their supposedly impenetrable shields fell to weapons they'd never imagined humans could develop. "Humanity knows its place in the galaxy," Chen broadcast to the dying fleet. "We just decided it wasn't the place you chose for us. Welcome to Earth, Ambassador. Welcome to a Deathworld." The battle was over in hours. Every Vraxian ship was either destroyed or captured. Their ground forces, expecting to find helpless primitives, met powered armor and weapons specifically designed to exploit their weaknesses. As the dust settled, Chen received reports from across the solar system. 0 human casualties. The Vraxian Empire's greatest fleet, defeated by the very species they'd planned to enslave. Send word to the Assembly, he ordered. Tell them humanity is ready to discuss new terms for our relationship. And this time, we'll be doing the teaching. News of Earth's victory spread through the Assembly like a shockwave. Humanity had not just defeated the Vraxian Empire. They had revolutionized warfare. The quantum shield penetration tactics, the sonic resonance weapons, the nanite swarms. Each innovation challenged centuries of established military doctrine. Display the casualty reports, ordered Counselor Zexra during the emergency assembly session. How did a Deathworld species achieve this level of technological advancement in secret? The answer was simultaneously simple and terrifying. They hadn't. Humanity had possessed this capability for months, hiding their true strength while gathering intelligence on their would-be conquerors. Earth's diplomatic corps, led by Dr. Sarah Chen, now moved with the same lethal efficiency as their military. The terms are simple, she announced to the Assembly. Recognition of Earth as a sovereign power, full integration into galactic trade networks, and most importantly, acknowledgement of humanity's right to defend itself. The Assembly chambers erupted in protest. You can't seriously expect, began one delegate. Sarah activated a holographic display. It showed human ships using modified quantum drives to achieve maneuvers that should have been impossible. We don't expect, we demand. Or would you prefer a demonstration of why Deathworlders make poor enemies? Admiral Chen's fleet had already begun implementing the innovations developed during the Vraxian conflict. Ships now carried sonic resonance cannons designed to shatter crystalline hulls. Marine squadrons trained in quantum-enhanced battle suits that could match any alien species' natural advantages. But humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology. It was their understanding of their own capabilities. They had spent millennia adapting to one of the galaxy's most hostile environments. Every predator, every natural disaster, every challenge had shaped them into survivors. Your species evolved on worlds that nurtured you, Sarah explained to the Assembly. Earth tried to kill us. Everything on our planet, from the smallest bacteria to the largest predators, was lethal. We didn't just survive, we thrived. And now we're taking our place among the stars. The Assembly watched in growing unease as human ships began establishing bases across the sector. Not as conquerors, but as defenders. Each installation showcased technology that seamlessly blended assembly principles with human innovation. We're not interested in empire, Admiral Chen assured nervous alien delegates. Earth taught us something your peaceful worlds never could: the difference between strength and dominance. We'll defend ourselves and our allies, but we won't repeat your mistakes. Humanity's emergence as a galactic power changed everything. Species that had once dismissed them as primitives now sought their counsel on defense and innovation. The very traits that had marked them as Deathworlders, their adaptability, their drive to overcome challenges, their ability to turn hostile environments to their advantage, became their greatest diplomatic assets. As the Assembly adjusted to this new reality, Sarah reviewed the latest reports from Earth's research divisions. They had barely scratched the surface of what was possible by combining human ingenuity with galactic technology. Your sister's diplomatic course is as effective as our fleet, Chen commented to Sarah, though I'm not sure the Assembly appreciates how thoroughly she outmaneuvers them. Sarah smiled. They're learning what the Vraxians learned too late. Underestimating humanity is a fatal mistake. We're not just strong because we're Deathworlders. We're strong because we never stopped learning how to survive. 3 years after the Vraxian incident, Earth had transformed from an impossible Deathworld into the center of a new galactic renaissance. The Assembly's diplomatic chamber, once dominated by crystalline and gaseous species, now hosted representatives from dozens of previously overlooked hostile worlds. Admiral Chen, newly appointed as Earth's Security Council representative, watched as his sister addressed the gathered species. Earth extends the same invitation to all Deathworld species that the Assembly once deemed too primitive or dangerous for inclusion. Your adaptations aren't flaws, they're strengths. Your struggles haven't made you lesser, they've made you resilient. The humans had discovered something remarkable during their integration into galactic society. They weren't alone. Other species had evolved on high-gravity worlds, in toxic atmospheres, under deadly radiation. Like humanity, they had been marginalized by the Assembly's traditional powers. Under Earth's guidance, these Deathworld species emerged from isolation. Human quantum shields protected methane-breathing warriors from acid worlds. Sonic resonance technology was adapted to help silicon-based beings communicate with carbon-based life. Every weakness became an opportunity for innovation. We don't need an empire, Sarah explained to the Assembly. We need understanding. Every species here evolved to overcome different challenges. Together, we're not just surviving. We're revolutionizing what's possible. The Vraxian Empire's remnants have been transformed into a coalition of free worlds. Their crystalline technology, once used for dominance, now formed the basis of new medical treatments and construction techniques. Former enemies became partners in exploration and innovation. Earth established the Deathworld Defense Initiative, not to conquer, but to ensure no species would ever again be subjugated for evolving differently. Human battle suits were modified to help heavy worlders traverse light gravity environments. Quantum drives were redesigned to accommodate diverse biological needs. The galaxy feared us because we were different, Chen addressed the Security Council. Now they understand that diversity isn't a threat. It's our greatest resource. Every world that tried to kill its inhabitants created survivors. Every hostile environment forced adaptation. Together, we're turning survival into prosperity. As Sarah looked out at the transformed assembly chamber, she remembered the Vraxian ambassador's condescending smile years ago. The aliens had thought they were civilizing savages. Instead, they had awakened something far more powerful, the realization that strength comes in many forms, and that the most dangerous mistake in the galaxy was assuming your way was the only way. We're not just Deathworlders anymore, she concluded her address. We're pioneers, and the galaxy is finally ready for what we can teach them. The assembly chambers, once a symbol of hierarchy and exclusion, now buzzed with the energy of revolution. Species that had never dared to approach each other now collaborated on solving the galaxy's greatest challenges. Earth had shown them something they had forgotten. That true civilization wasn't about conquering nature or each other. It was about learning to thrive together, no matter how different their origins. Humanity had stopped being nice. In doing so, they had taught the galaxy how to be better.